Please understand, it's not a bad point. At least you are getting it. Because water boils at what degree? 100 degree. Surabhi is this, please understand. The whole of Gita is talking of this. If you can understand this, you have understood the Gita, you have got the grip of the Gita. What is? One is, there is in us a body center, an emotional center, an intellectual center. This body has become a prison to us because of lack of understanding. We have to make it a presence. Now, in this body center, emotional center, intellectual center, if a purification happens by Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Hatha Yoga, right, what happens is through these yogas are only this. Your intellectual center, which all of you are listening right now, this intellectual center can be mechanical, can be magnetic. I'm avoiding Sanskrit. I'll put it in simple English so you'll understand. Your intellect can become very mechanical thinking. If it is mechanical thinking, then such an intellect, if you're listening to me, one Jew is how much? One Palestine is 1,000, and 200 means I'm going to become very rich. He is using his calculation, called his buddhi, but how is he using? He is mechanically hooked to money, money, money. Everything is calculating. This is using your intellect mechanically. And with this mechanical mind, even if you're listening to this discourse, you will listen, how whatever I am talking, is it fitting into your conviction of how Gita should be? From that angle you will listen. Not from an angle, am I really learning how to transform myself? So therefore, there is an intellect which is mechanical, right? That should become a magnetic center. Magnetic center, when it becomes there, your understanding is so deep, you will not see superficial understanding. One student tells another student, in my guru performs these miracles. What does your guru perform? What miracles does he say? To which this man says, in your world, a miracle is if God fulfills your will, it is a miracle. But in my world of understanding, if we fulfill God's will, that is a miracle. We fulfill God's will is a miracle. See, two different understanding altogether now. So now your intellect through Jnana Yoga is changing the mechanical center into an emotional, into a magnetic center. In Sanskrit, it's called from Jivatma to Paramatma. Now, first thing, by Bhakti Yoga, what is doing? Here is an emotional center in you. Now, these emotional center can be extremely mechanical. It can be very mechanical. I've seen people's emotions are mechanical. They look at somebody, high emotions they have. They look at somebody, strong negative emotions they will have. They don't even know. I was in somebody's farm, and that person was saying, this bird, if I look, I feel irritated, Swamiji. But next to that bird, I love that bird. Same jati, both these birds are. But such strong feelings the person has got. Now, this is called mechanical emotional center. Please identify that. Mechanical emotional centers. And that like a machine starts working in people's life. There was a Pathan was about to get married. When he about to get married, another Pathan told him, see, you are getting married, take the advice. See, all grey hair is not knowledge but wisdom. So I'll give you an advice. And this fellow is getting married next day. What is the advice? See, when you get married, right, it's just a joke, okay? I'm not against women and all that, don't hear it long. All right, this joke, this man says, when you get married, please, right from the first day, you should control your wife. Ladies appear to be weak, but they're super strong. Most of men are henpecked, but only pose themselves to be men. So right from first day, so if you don't be strict, look at my plight. This fellow, we have to follow the elders, what he said. All right, we gets married next day. From the first night, right, staying in Lahore, this Pathan, 7-footer, solid guy, tells his wife, you know who I am? He says, Pathan. All right, I'm a Pathan. All right, Pathan there. 4 o'clock in the morning, hot water or else, he screams. 4 o'clock, hot water or else. And the 7-footer, right, 4 chickens he can eat at one time. So this lady poor shivers, All right. Every night before he goes to sleep, he says, tomorrow, hot water, or else screams, on the wife. 10 years have gone, 9 children produced, 10th is on the way. He has made the wife as industry to produce children, nothing else. All right, there, now after 10 children, 9 children over, she gets so fed up. So every winter comes, he says, tomorrow, hot water, or else. The wife buckles up so much courage, or else what will you do? I'll take cold water bath, he said. I'll take cold water bath. The basic emotion has been fear for this fellow. The basic emotion has been fear. You may post stuff, but the emotion is fear. So I'm saying you have to identify, tomorrow I'll dwell on you, your core weakness you have to identify. So there is a mechanical emotional center, there's a magnetic emotional center. Through Bhakti Yoga, your mechanical emotion should become a magnetic center. And therefore, if you leave, the best example I can give you, if you read the life history of Vachaspati Mishra, one of the greatest saints who wrote wonderful commentaries on Bhagavad. If you look at the life, how it has happened, such great contribution. He was writing, a person was completing the commentaries on a very, very difficult text called Brahma Sutra. As he was completing, finally he finished his commentary. He raised his head. He found an old lady with a lantern. She had come and she was keeping food, putting food. And this man asked, who are you? And she says, 20 years you have been writing this commentary. You have forgotten me. I am your wife. It was his wife, and 20 years, and she says, I have been serving you because I know you are contributing tremendously important to humanity. You are writing on the text Brahma Sutra written by Veda Vyasa, a commentary, so I didn't want to disturb you at all. Every night I just come leave food and come. No, you're not able to recognize me, but I'm happy you have completed this work. When he hears the sacrifice of his wife for 20 years, this has happened, tears starts going. It's supposed to be a true story. Tears starts coming out of his eyes. Tears starts coming out. What a tremendous sacrifice. But he says, I have no words to thank your sacrifice. I couldn't recognize my own wife, but I am in conflict, he says. Vachaspati Mishra, who wrote the commentary, says, I'm in conflict. What is the conflict, she asks. I had taken a vow as I was writing the commentary. Since it came out so well, I have taken a vow. If I finish the text, I am going to take sannyas. I am going to take sannyas. This is my vow I had taken. No, I see the sacrifice of you. 20 years you have come and served me. I am in a conflict to respect your sacrifice or to honor my word. And therefore tears came out. And she said, it seems, please see, the very tears you have in your eyes is enough proof that you love me and you care for me. Continue in your commitment. Continue in your commitment. That's enough there. And then this person, it seems, says, this great saint says, from this, he named the book, commentary on the Brahma Sutra, as Bhamati. Bhamati is the name of his wife. And very few people know the author of the book is Vachaspati Mishra, because the book was written on Bhamati, right? His wife's name Bhamati. Now the lady's sacrifice, I know an ordinary person listens, he says it's foolish, it's madness. But once when your emotion reaches a peak, it is like the mother does so much to the children, the giving itself is joy without receiving. So when you reach your emotions to a peak, the giving has such a beauty more than receiving. All right, if you take that emotion, your emotion has gone into a magnetic center. Through Bhakti Yoga, your mechanical emotions has to transform into a magnetic center. Through Jnana Yoga, your buddhi, your intellect from a mechanical center has to go to a magnetic center. When that happens, a certain transformation happens. Now I'll come to the moving center. Before we go to the moving center, let us practice. Through jnana, through understanding, If the mechanical mind becomes magnetic, through devotion, bhakti, when your mechanical emotions becomes filled with devotion, a magnetic emotion opens up, and your body center, through the principle of Hatha Yoga, through the principle of even Karma Yoga, a mechanical body movements has to become magnetic. A mechanical body movements have become magnetic. And therefore, in all the principles of yoga, which Krishna, even in the Gita, refers to, yukta ahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, then he talks of prana also, prana apana, he talks, which is referring to Hatha Yoga. This body, which is mechanical, which has become a prison, because we develop prison habits, become mechanical, has to become magnetic, is the quintessence of the Gita. For example, right now I am talking. The hand gestures that I am doing should be relaxed. I can move my hand gestures with lot of tension. That is a mechanical center. Therefore, in yoga, please see, asana is called stira sukha asanam. Stiram means you have to be firm. Sukha means you have to be relaxed. Sukha also means you have to be happy. See, as I am talking, I have to be relaxed as I am talking. At the same time, I have to be happy as I am talking. When I am relaxed as I am talking and I am happy as I am talking, this body center becomes a magnetic center. This body opens up magnetically. Then please see, the way you perceive life, the way when you take bath there, you will find water is a devata. When you feel the sunrise, you feel the sunrise is a devata. When you see the stars in the sky, you feel all this nothing but a divine blessings. When you see the flora and the fauna, Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. The same world, the Upanishad says, Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. Everything is divine. Whereas the other person, the same sun, it says, every day it gets up at 6 o'clock, unnecessary, it disturbs me. And the birds are, singing its song. Every time it disturbs me in my sleep. The same birds chirping can be a divine experience. The same ear from a magnetic center of the body, it can be a divine song. For a mechanical person, the bird singing can be a great nuisance. And therefore, please understand, through the discipline of yoga, when you have purified this body, which he explains it as yukta ahara viharasya, means your ahara, your eating, your vihara, the entertainments of the body has to be moderate and balanced. When you do, there is a sensory acuity, there is a sensory sharpness, a sensory acuity opens up when you perceive the world very, very, very differently. It seems a Westerner comes to India to learn Indian archery. When he comes to learn Indian archery, the master talks less here, who believes in Mauna Vyakya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. As Adi Shankaracharya says, through silence he conveys more than words. So therefore this Westerner comes to learn Indian archery. He says, observe me and learn. That's all. So he takes the bow and arrow, at a spot, and he leaves it. He hits at the bull's eye. Now this man has to observe the stance of the guru, take the bow. He also takes the bow and hits, misses the target. And the master says, every day observe the posture which I am doing, learn and repeat it. So every day this man goes on doing this. Every time it misses, the guru hits there at the target. And one day he gets so frustrated, then he goes with frustration and takes, and then he hits at the bull's eye. This Westerner hits the bull's eye. He feels very happy he has learned Indian archery. He rushes to his master, touches his feet and said, I've learned Indian archery there. The master says, show me. He takes the bow and arrow. He focuses. Before he shoots, the master says, you have missed the target. Now this man gets confused. I have not even hit now the target, I missed the target. And the master just goes away. He says, observe me and then do. Next day he observes, hits the target. The student takes, observe. Before he hits, he says, you have missed the target. And this man leaves the arrow, hits the target. The student gets so confused. He packs all his luggage and says, Indian gurus are the most dangerous people there. They must have taken some ganja, I do not know what. So therefore, says there, one person wrote a book, Hunting for a Guru. He has written a book. A Westerner has written a book called Hunting for a Guru. At the end of the book, he says, I couldn't find a Guru. He hunted. If I was there, I told him, because Gurus are intelligent in India. Because if you hunt a Guru, every Guru will run away, Guru is not to be hunted, is to be invited, This fellow says, hunting for a Guru, no. All right, so this man gets so frustrated, he packs all the luggage and he's going out, this Westerner. Suddenly some sanity, some pure center within him pauses and says, hey, the man does not appear to be insane. There must be some message he's trying to convey. And suddenly he is locked on to his pure center within, and he had Shraddha to see what is it. And when he looked there, let me observe the master. Then he takes the bow and arrow, the master in his morning practice, he is hitting, and when he is about, as he is picking the bow and arrow and focusing, suddenly an enlightenment happens to this Westerner. He comes rushing to the master, touches his feet. He said, I have learned Indian archery. All right, the master says, show it. So he takes the bow and arrow. As he is focusing, the master says, you have learned Indian archery. And then he leaves the arrow, hits at the bullseye. What this man learned is, see, first time he was hitting at the target properly. But the way he was holding the bow, with the tension, with that anxiety he was holding the bow, the body had tension, anxiety, and therefore, even though he hit the target, the way he hit the target is not archery, Indian archery, not Zen archery. All right? So therefore, this man realized hitting the target is not all important. The way you hit the target, how relaxed you are, how calm you are, how focused you are, not worrying about the result, keeping the body in that state is what is called the magnetic center. When he realizes, picks up in such a relaxed posture, he is picking up there. In that relaxed posture, the master said, you have learned Indian archery. Therefore, friends, the way we move our body, how restless we are when we move our body. You have to be sensitive. When you're listening also, if you're gada shaking the leg. Have you seen some people scratching their head? They scratch fully like this, full of tension.